Sharing the screen. Okay, perfect. So again, our vision is that every business deserves to be better connected. Our mission is to enhance our clients' growth and competitiveness with forward-thinking, scalable communication systems. At Universal Connectivity, our niche is delivering the best communication systems and tools to growing mid-market companies. And it all starts with our core values to hold it together. Starting with human touch, we are real people who respond to the immediacy of your needs. Happiness, we love what we do and it shows. Pragmatic creativity, our clients' needs dictate the solution. And thoroughness, from start to finish, no loose ends. We listen, we understand our client's business, and accurate documentation means accurate management. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our, I'm going to go over a quick agenda and then turn it over to our friends at Dubber. They're going to take us through a product demo and a little bit of an intro to what they provide. We'll do a couple minutes of Q&A and then we'll be ready for the next steps. So with that, let me introduce Jeff Quinn, Tommy Torque, and Paul Lloyd from Dubber. I think Jeff's going to take the lead here.
All right, and as soon as you're done, I'm going to share my screen. So you need to, if you could.
Yep, I just need to.
And thank you, everybody. My name is Jeff Quinn. I'm with Dubber. With me is Tommy Torque, who is the bridge troll. He's underneath the bridge somewhere in Texas. And then Paul Lloyd is with us as well. Paul and I both support Universal Connectivity. Let me fire up the screen so you can see what we want to go over today. And we're assuming that you guys don't know who Dubber is. So I wanted to start off just real quickly, and I'll send out a link to these slides after we're done here. And just to share real quickly, who is Dubber? So we're a company, we were founded in 2011. We went publicly traded in the Australian Stock Exchange in 2015, over 300 employees, and we're based in Melbourne, Australia. So if you see some of our materials and they have the R before the E, it's because of the Aussies. We go to market through service providers like Universal Connectivity, and we look to be embedded in the solutions that they're providing you. We have over 750,000 subscribers. We're completely cloud-based, and so that we can be scalable, easily enabled. It's just a click away from working with Dubber. With that, it's really our mission is we want to be the embedded conversational recording platform of choice for service providers globally. And that's the key. We work in Europe with GDPR. We work in America with HIPAA. We have all the compliances that you're going to need. We can provision absolutely immediately. It's incredibly quick to provision our services. We're already embedded and engaged into Universal Connectivities. And we want to be your source for that conversational data. How do you take the conversations going on within your company with your clients and your vendors to make certain those are meeting your needs? They are able to be captured, analyzed, tone and sentiment analysis. Tommy's going to take you through that so that you know what's going on for the purposes of accuracy of your personnel, dispute resolution with your vendors, whatever it happens to be. We want to be able to be the vendor providing that solution through Universal Connectivity. In going from left to right, we are going to be able to ingest your calls from whatever modality that you're looking to be leveraging. And as we look to a more distributed sales or team, your employees are working virtual, they're working across time zones potentially. We can ingest from their platforms, whether it's a desk phone, a mobile phone. We can do video calls. We can ingest all the different modalities that you might be using and ingest those into the Dubber platform, where we're going to store them securely. We're going to encrypt every one of the calls, and then we're going to make that encrypted call an asset that we track anytime anyone goes to touch it, use it, prevent them from being able to do anything with it that you wouldn't want them to do. And that's one of the keys with our compliance capabilities. You've got to be able to be certain that this particular recording, you know where it's been, you know the custody of that recording, we provide that for you. And then our ability then to be able to provide that to you via our portal, and be able to search and find what you need from our portal or ingest it into a business intelligence environment that you may have via our APIs. So I really just wanted to quickly touch, that's what Dubber is. We're call recording and analytics. AI is the really our go-to feature and functionality. And then we want to take you through the portal, the platform, and Tommy's going to share with you our AI platform. Tommy is our senior solutions consultant supporting universal connectivity, and we're available to you as a team whenever you would need us. So Tommy, I'm going to stop sharing and allow you to share. Okay. And it's stop share. There you go, Tommy.
All right. Thank you, everybody. My name is Tommy Tork, Solution Architect here at Dubber. And once again, after this call, if you have any additional questions that we're not able to answer, please reach out to our partners and they can schedule a follow-up call as well as a deep dive demo for you in your particular environment. So the main thing to note with Dubber is everything is stored in a secure fashion. Everything resides within Amazon. We do offer data sovereignty. Everything is a 256-bit AES encryption applied to each of the calls to add to the compliance story, whether it's GDPR, HIPAA, Dodd-Frank, and we can also have those deep dive conversations regarding PCI compliance for those that may request it. So the most important thing to understand about Dubber is not just a recording solution. It's built on the foundation of AI. Is being able to take the information that's being captured and change the narrative from being a reactionary to being proactive. Another key component with Dubber is everything is designed to be easy to use, easy to identify, to find what you're looking for, get in and get out of the solution. Each one of these is what's called a recording element. Those that you may be familiar with call recording, there's two pieces of key information that is required. One is the metadata that includes the information such as the calling party, the direction of the call, and the user within the organization that took the call, the duration of the call, as well as the date and timestamp. Nothing fancy, nothing really sexy about it. But then we couple all the information using our Google-like search to be able to identify a needle in a haystack, whether it's typing an agent name, using any of the bit of metadata to be able to identify those calls, and then also coupling that with a date and time search, which could be a pre-canned or doing custom date. Like I said, nothing really fancy about that, something that you may be familiar with today if call recording is something that you've done in the past or currently doing today. Some other pieces of information is as an administrator, you have the ability to download a call. Once a call is downloaded, it's no longer encrypted. However, due to compliancy and potential within organizations, as Jeff touched on, once that call has been downloaded, you no longer have insight to what happens to that call. If it were to show up in social media, you have no control. So one of the feature sets that we've added is called a share feature. The nice thing about the share feature is you can put in a single or multiple email recipients, you can use the pre-canned subject and messaging or create a unique one for that specific call. Once you click share, it sends out a tokenized link that is valid for 24 hours or up to 50 playbacks. But more importantly, from a compliance standpoint, is not only do we offer unlimited retention at no additional cost, potentially depending on the plan that you're on, but we also keep an audit trail of any action that takes place with that call once it's been captured and recorded. So now if you were to share that call, you know who shared it, who is the recipient of the share, what is the date and time stamp in which they play back the call, as well as the IP address in which they accessed it from. All important information to help you keep compliance as we move forward. Then one of the things I like to notice is these are called manual tags. This has the ability to if a user, he or she has access to her call recordings, they have the ability to add a tag to the call, which essentially is making a notation. Whether it's in the healthcare, you're putting a medical record number, or in legal, if you're putting a case number, so that you can use that information to quickly identify all those calls that have taken place to help you move on, quickly identify those calls, and then and take the next step forward. But now I'd like to go into what I call the AI. The AI is truly a game changer. It changes the narrative on what you're doing. It changes it from being a reaction or organization to being proactive. These little sentiment icons is an indication that AI has been applied and it's either negative, positive, or neutral. This is an example of an AI being applied. As you can see, you have the overall sentiment score of the call, the 7 different tones that we're monitoring based on the spoken word, ranging from joy to fear. And then you also have the beautiful transcription. And what we do is, if you imagine if this was a 30-minute call, your team may not have the ability or the time to listen to multiple 30-minute calls. What they can do is we break up the call into what I call an utterance. An utterance is those natural pauses and breaks in the conversation. When that occurs, a new utterance takes place, and then we actually score each utterance. So now I can click anywhere in that portion of the call.
There's 2 kinds of problems, really. The first one is you keep incorrectly billing me and have done every month.
So now what you're able to do is pick up in that point in time that you focused on to be able to listen to the call, listen to the different tone inflections, and then most importantly, listen to if your rep was even keeled throughout the conversation. Another important fact is Dubber AI has only been relegated to contact center. But what most majority of executives, whether it's CMO, C-level executives, are realizing that 70% of calls that take place outside of the contact center are just as valuable, in some cases, more valuable than what's taking place in the contact center. Because that's what your day-to-day business is. You're dealing with your supply chains, your partners, Joe Q Public, your financial institutions. All that information, those 2 or 3 minute calls, holds tremendous value that you now are able to capture at a price point that does not make it something that is out of reach. So now that we've talked about 3 of the 5 pillars in AI, the overall sentiment score, the tone, and the beautiful transcription, the true power of Dubber is the notification services. So for example, whether you're retail, whether you're healthcare, a legal institution, a financial institution, notifications, think of this as an organization, for example, healthcare. Healthcare has multiple departments ranging from traditional billing, where you see a lot of your contact center, to nurses stations, to pre-surgery screening. Every one of those departments, security, every one of those departments can now build a notification so that now, instead of one person listening to a call that they were notified that was bad, now what they can do is now each department can now build a notification based on important information that's important to them. So now every call that can take place within an organization is now being monitored with AI to be able to identify what's important to them. For example, here's an ambulance. This is just one example, and it's all built on the Boolean principle, and or not. Send an ambulance. So now when somebody says send an ambulance in those calls, the organization will be immediately notified. While another department is looking for something a little different, whether it's looking at a retail space. A retail space is looking for installations. So now this customer came to us, a large home goods services, said, hey, we need to know why are people calling our stores? So now one example is for installations is that people were calling in, hey, do you do installations on water here, floorings, garage doors, appliances? So now they can now be notified that, yes, these are why they're calling. Then another department within the retail space may come and say, hey, we need to look for fraud detection. So when we got into there and we did some discovery, some of the key words that they're kind of correlating is people were calling back and say, okay, can I get my money back? Can I get cash back? Do I need to bring an ID? Do I need to bring my card? So now what happens is once those calls are being notified, they can be receiving email immediately or a summary at the end of the day. And in some circumstances, if they're using our RESTful APIs and you have a CRM such as a Salesforce or a Zendesk or any other open CRM that also has a RESTful APIs, you can now trigger workflows, create tickets on the fly, create tickets based on voicemails of being able to capture it to create a workflow. So in the morning, you're now ready to go. So now once they receive those notifications here, now they can be notified. Now they know how to handle the call. And then to kind of come back to this rather quickly is now for some of those institutions, they want to take it a step further. They want to be able to use that data to do modeling. You may be using something like Power BI or Cognos or Tableau. So now you can take the information now, do some modeling to be able to get a richer experience based on the spoken word that you may not realize that you were losing that information being captured. So for example, quickly here, this is a financial institution. Over a period of time, they know 90% or 53% of all calls that occur result in a new account. This is the product sets that they are selling to, but here's the referral source based on when the rep asked them, hey, how did you hear about it? So I heard it through TV, through YouTube or Google. So now they can do state by state analysis. They can look at Texas and say, what's going on here? My sales guys, we're only opening new accounts for 25% versus the national average at 53%. So now the sales team can go to marketing and say, what's going on here? Marketing said, yep, that's to be expected. Texas is a new territory. So now we have to cater and create our marketing programs based on the buying and how the people in Texas do business, because what they do in Texas is completely different than what they do in New York. So now they have a richer insight into the information's taking place. They can be quickly notified and then respond to accordingly based on what they're looking for in the call. And also, most importantly, in the notifications can be, because once again, it's built on Boolean, if something is not being said. If your organization is required to provide a mini Miranda, which means, hey, I'm calling, my name is such and such. I work for Acme Packets. Thank you for calling. Can I please have the following pieces of information? If they're not following and adhering to that script, something not being said, it can be notified. And then once again, you couple all that in that rich experience. Now you can leverage a Boolean to be able to identify anytime cancel's been stated in a call. So now if nothing has been added to a tag, because they're going to search in the tag, if AI has been applied with a premium package, now when they look for cancel, they can go in here and they can find any calls that had tags in it, or they can review the transcription itself and identify anytime cancel was discussed on the call and quickly identify that, review it, and then be able to take corrective action. So I know that was rather quick, but I'd like to open up to any Q&A questions that you may have. And once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tommy. That was excellent. That was, like you said, a lot of information in a short amount of time. So we will open it up for any questions, and I'll just share my screen again. And like I said, if there are any questions, there's a Q&A section down at the bottom. But while we're waiting on if there are any questions, I also just want to leave you guys with some contact information and a QR code that'll take you to our website, and specifically our Dubber call recording section of our website. So this is where you can go to explore the benefits, gain some more information, activate a specific demo to your business, or just book a consultation with me to talk about any of your telecommunications needs. So there's that information.
So Joe, just in case there's nobody having any questions, I can provide the link to the presentation, and in the presentation slides that we didn't go through were some use cases. So if you're an insurance company, how could you use this? If you're a law firm, if you're a parts distributor, but it gives you different use cases, both for just the standard recording and the AI recording, and how you can leverage this technology in your businesses. And so I'll provide that link, Joe, or I can put it in the chat, but probably if you send out a post-call email, I'll provide you that link.
Yeah, we've got this recorded, and we're gonna send it out. And yeah, it's interesting you mentioned law firms. We have a lot of our clients that are with law firms that I was curious on what kind of sentiments and what kind of information they could gather from the AI.
Well,
Absolutely.
go ahead.
Absolutely, and also from our legal team, we have a Dubber app, which has been very beneficial for not only for municipalities, but well as some of the legal firms, that when they go on site and they may do depositions or something where it's a one-on-one meeting recorder, and not only will it record it, but also transcribe it. And then at that point, they can do that from the phone. They can access it from the phone or from the website. But now you have a true rich experience. And then you can build notifications based on specific keywords, depending on what is the legal case that you're looking for. There may be some specific jargon that is used when you're looking at a financial fraud versus something else in the sector. So you not only do you have it from a phone desk, but also using the Dubber app to be able to record those one-on-one conversations. And like I said, once time permits, you're able to digest this, just reach out to our partners at Universal Connectivity, and they will stand up and set up a dedicated training session, and we can review everything.
Excellent. All righty. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I appreciate you guys joining us today. And we will, like I said, we'll send out this recording, and please reach out to us if you have any questions. And have a great day.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Joe.